Thank you all so much for coming to the Deco building tonight. I didn't know this place. It's actually fantastic. Thank you, Jonathan, for bringing us here. My name is Annalisa. Some of you know me as Inanna, and I've been Jonathan's friend for a few years now. Yes, I'm very honored to be here presenting this today because I feel like I've seen your evolution in these years with all the things that I've seen you do and invent. And so Jonathan is not only a dear friend, but he's an incredibly brilliant entrepreneur. I've seen you coming up with so many ideas and so many new enterprises in these 5 years. And he's also one of the first people that I met in Los Angeles, and one of the first people that kind of opened me to the animal rights community. So thank you for that. And I feel like it's good that we're here together tonight. It's France and Italy representing fashion. So it's yes. So Jonathan, we're here to celebrate Jonathan's book, which is incredible. It's called The Fashion Industry Doesn't Want You to Read This Book. And it's really amazing. It's a very necessary and unique book that explores all the possible questions and answers that you might have about the current state of the fashion industry on our planet, and its incredibly heavy impact. So thank you, Jonathan, for doing all this research for us. It's really a titanic effort, so thank you. So Jonathan, so I met Jonathan 5-6 years ago, the first time, in his little cute vegan fashion museum. It was amazing. Some of you maybe were there. It was on Melrose, and I was so impressed with his work because it was a small museum, but so very well curated, and immediately I perceived your dedication and passion for the fashion industry, sustainability, and veganism through fashion. So I was very, very impressed. So that was the first time, and then I saw you in 2019. I think it was 2019 where you co-founded Arsayo, right, with your brother? A little before, yes. So Arsayo with his brother, which is this incredible vegan backpack brand. And then in 2019, he founded F.A.K.E, Fashion for the Animal Kingdom and the Environment, and hosted a lot of events showcasing a lot of brands, vegan and sustainable brands. So if you have any questions about vegan, eco, sustainable, ethical fashion brands, he's the guy to go to. All right, so you came from, your family in France, right, was in the fashion industry. I didn't know that. I found it here. But then a lot of it switched when 10 years ago you adopted a vegan lifestyle, right? So we'll explore that. So I feel like this book feels like the coronation or summary of all your evolution and experience, your journey in the realm of sustainable fashion. And yeah, so let's just dive in and start with some questions. Yes? Hey. So first, tell us about the inception of your passion, for ethical and sustainable fashion, and about the origins of the book idea. Did you see there was a gap in the market or in the education about it? Like, did you see there was a gap about these issues?
Yes. So first, thank you, all of you, for being here. You still have some place if you want to sit. If anybody wants to come, feel free to join. And if you want more sushi, just go and grab it. Enjoy. So first, thank you. Thank you, because yesterday I was checking, and the book was #1 bestseller in this category. So thank you. So it's a lot. Thanks all of you. So thank you so much for that. And yeah, actually, I did this book out of necessity. I wouldn't say that I had it in mind. It's like the F.A.K.E movement. I created the F.A.K.E movement because I had a fashion line with my dad and my brother, and I couldn't find a place to showcase products that were vegan and ethical. It was usually either one or the other. So that's why I created this little pop-up event, and it worked so well that I did another one, and then the Vegan Fashion Museum where we met. And yeah, this event works really great. We start to even do those events overseas in Tel Aviv, Los Angeles, Paris. We had fashion shows. And yeah, by doing all that, I realized that the main issue was the lack of education. People are not aware of anything that's happening in the fashion industry, especially when it's related to animals. That was the main goal, and at the end I wrote about not only the animal, but as well the humans, the environment. But that was everything started here. Like I say, out of necessity, I never see myself as an author. It's just I felt we need a book like that is easy to understand. Most of people, when we say ethical fashion, we think that it's for an elite, it's just for rich people, it's a conversation that we cannot all have, but it's totally the opposite. Actually, since I'm embracing ethical fashion, I never spend less in fashion by buying just secondhand. So yeah, that was the goal, just to educate people, and that's why I wrote it.
Thank you. And so reading the book, I've seen you've done so much research, because it's basically like a guide, a manual with so many details. And so you research a lot in all the meanders of the fashion industry. Was it something that you were already an expert before, or did you encounter a lot of new things as you were writing? Like, did you get some shocking news as you were researching?
Yeah, actually a lot. I wasn't, like I said, the goal wasn't for me to write a book, so when I started to do that, it took me 3 years to write it, and every time I was learning something new. There's around 70 questions in this book, and each question could be a whole book on its own. So yeah, I learned a lot. That will be hard to just pick and choose just a couple of them, but I know something that shocked me is the impact that our fashion choice can have on the food system. For example, when you buy cotton, we usually harvest the cotton and you are left with cotton seeds, and those seeds, they are giving them to dairy cows, or they're going to crush them to make oil that will be used for fast food or salad dressing, all that. So even when you buy fashion, you have an impact on your food. So that's crazy. And then of course everything around animal welfare, which doesn't exist, because as soon as an animal is dead, there's no welfare. But yeah, it's very hard to just pick one. But the goal of this book is that I'm hoping that at least one of these topics will touch you and will make you change step by step a little thing. So yeah, that's the goal.
Yeah. And talking about the same topic, was there anything about the leather industry that particularly shocked you and that really gave you the impulse to write this book? Because a lot of us simply don't know about what's behind it. So
that's actually my number one topic. So I don't know if I should do the long version or the short version. Long. Okay, I'll try to make it not too long. But yeah, everything actually started when I was a kid. I remember my grandmother was teaching me how to identify real fur from fake fur. So she explained me, you need to check the packing. If it's skin, it's from an animal. If it's synthetic, it's fake. And then I find this coat. It was a huge coat that covered the entire body. And I touched, and I couldn't see the backing because there was a textile on top. And I told her, wait, this is way too soft. It must be synthetic. And she looked at it. She said, oh no, this is probably rabbit or cat. And I said, what, cat? Are you sure? And she said, yeah, look at the pattern. And you could see different pieces of fur. Like now that she told me, I could actually see it. And she told me, yeah, it's maybe around 10 to 20 cats for this fur. But then I was like you, I was a little disgusted. But since I became vegan 10 years ago, I start to understand why this stay with me, this cognitive dissonance, why it's weird to have cat fur, but it's totally fine to have cow leather or fox fur. It doesn't make sense. So what reminded me of this is when I saw an investigation from PETA. It was in China, because back then there was no ban on dog leather, so they were eating dog leather. I mean dog. And so they were using those dogs as well to make leather. And it was an investigation in a factory where they killed around 350 dogs per day. That's crazy. And basically what they do, because they are not allowed to ship dog leather in US or Europe. It was back then, now there's a ban, but there's many other countries that still eat dogs. So what they do, they kill the dog, they create the leather, and instead of shipping the leather, they are making accessories like gloves, belt, shoes, and they send those accessories to US or Europe, and they labeled as genuine leather, which is true, it's genuine leather. I was thinking, okay, maybe there's a way for me to prove that, to have a piece of leather to prove that it's dog leather, and maybe I can do something with that. So I contacted, I'll tell you it will be long. So I contacted the Veg Fund, which is a non-profit that helps elevating veganism by doing research or event like this. So we did a research. I found this, it's the only place in US I think that does that. With a microscope, they can check the leather and they tell you what is the species. So I talk about it in the book. And so we took a couple pieces of leather from a fast fashion industry. We ship it to them, and 40% of those, they were able to identify the species 100%. And the rest, they couldn't say 100%. They say it's probably bovine because of the way it feels. But the funicle, the little... funicle, sorry my accent, it was completely damaged because of the tanning process, because the tanning process is using chromium, arsenic, horrible chemicals that are made to make a skin not biodegradable. Basically, it's not possible to identify 100%. And that was pretty expensive to do this research. Something else that was pretty shocking, I show actually one of the pictures in the book. You see that the leather is made of different layers. So there's maybe like 40 to 60% it's leather. All the rest is foam, textile, rubber, and there's a layer of plastic on top, polyurethane, to make it shiny look and water resistant. So when people say that plastic is worse than leather, well, you have plastic in leather anyway. So then I was like, wait, for sure there's a way to do that. So I looked for more research and more study, and I found one study, only one. If you find another one, please let me know. That was able to identify species of leather, and it was made by Hermes, which is a very big company, and it was so expensive that it was not just Hermes, it was as well Maison de la Radio, which is a house of radio. So they combined forces to identify different pieces of leather, and they did it with DNA. So I talked to the researcher who made this study. We did a Zoom call. I was so excited to talk about him. I share about all my stories, and I shouldn't. I will tell you after a while. But basically, he explained me how difficult it was because the DNA is completely destroyed because of the chemicals. So they had to restructure the DNA. So they take the DNA of many different animals and they try to see which one match the most. So he told me even like that, it's not 100% sure, and it costs tens of thousands of dollars. And then I told him, can we do it with dog leather, to check if some fabric are made with dog leather? He told me maybe, it's very expensive, but if I talk to, he's a teacher in a university in Dubai, he said if I talk to the university, maybe they will do this as a project for the student, and hopefully we can do it as a cheaper price, but it will take 1 to 2 years. And I said, okay, let's do it. And then he completely ghosted me. And I think he got scared of the dog leather story. Maybe he thought I wanted to do something bad, I don't know. But I never heard of him, and I don't know anybody else that does that. But then I realized, even let's say we're able to identify it, we do it, and after 1 year, 2 years, we can show, look, this fast fashion brand were using dog leather, and let's say we want to sue them because it's horrible what they did. So we're gonna sue them. They can always claim that they were not aware of. It's not their fault, it's the manufacturer. So now good luck with finding the manufacturer. But let's say they take the responsibility. They say, yeah, you're right, we're gonna pay whatever fine it is for that. The fine, the maximum is $10,000. And you can check it in Custom Border US website. That's the fine they can have, $10,000. It's basically like if you ask me to give you a penny now. It's nothing for them. And even though they're going to tell you, okay, can you prove it's us? Because it's been 2 years. We don't sell those anymore because fast fashion, every month they have new products. So yeah, all that to say that when you buy a piece of leather labeled as genuine leather, or even sometimes they labeled it as lamb leather, it might be dog leather. So now the question is why this is shocking? Why are you shocked about dog leather but not about cow leather? That's what stays always with me is like, if we are shocked about this, why are we not shocked about cow leather or any other leather? So yeah, that's a big part of the book. That's where everything started actually. I started writing about this and then I decided to have more topic, but yeah, I told you it was a long story.
Thank you, Jonathan. This really proves all your extensive research, and you have to be a little obsessed about things.
Yeah.
So when we say that leather is natural, there you go. Can you give us a list of fabrics in order of environmental impact from the lightest to the heaviest?
Yeah. So actually there is a study made by a global fashion agenda called the Pulse of the Fashion Industry. You probably know. It's every year they do it, and they did a list of the worst impact on the environment for the production of fabrics. So the production of leather, production of polyurethane and all that. And number one is actually leather, by far. Even like 4 to 20 times worse than any plastic alternative. So yeah, basically leather is the number one. Number two is I think silk. Yeah. Then you have wool and cotton, conventional cotton, because if you buy organic cotton, of course, it's way better. And then wool and so all the rest is not as horrible as animal products. So animal products is by far the worst. And I'm sure here we're all going to agree plastic is horrible. We should all stop buying plastic, right? And we should all advocate stop plastic. But leather, we actually should advocate 4 times more against leather because it's 4 times worse than plastic. To give you an idea, the chemical we use in leather make the price of the leather way cheaper. And instead of taking 2 months to go from the skin of an animal,
I'm sorry.
Okay, instead of taking 2 months for the tanning process, the way they used to do it, now it takes 24 hours with chemicals, with chromium and all that. So for sure they use chromium, it's way cheaper and it's way better. The only problem is that it wastes a lot of water because all those chemicals go in the water and it's very hard to recycle it. So what they do, because there's so many regulations in US or in Europe, they produce overseas. So they produce in India. There's I don't want to butcher the name of the city, but I talk about it in the book, but there's a specific city where they do all this, and it's millions of liters of water every day, full of chemicals that they release in river, in river when you have actually kids that are playing, that are fishing. You have a lot of documentary that shows that, so another proof that there's an impact even on the food. So yeah, just to give you an idea on how leather is horrible. I'm very passionate about leather.
I see. Thank you, Jonathan. Passion is the thing that we need to really transmit stuff, whatever it is that we care about, but that's, it has to come out of your pores. So it's really evident by now that the current fashion system industry that we have is completely unsustainable, unethical, and many times very cruel, both to human beings and animals and the planet. So how do we navigate this? How do we ask? How do we demand for better products? How do we try to contribute to the change? What do we do?
Yeah, you have the answer in the question. It's asking. You just ask to brands. The same way when you buy, I was talking about the leather, when it said genuine leather, and you don't have all the other ingredients. They don't tell you that there's plastic, textile, and all that. So imagine you buy a piece of bread, and you check the ingredient and it's a bread. It's gonna be weird. You're gonna ask to the manufacturer, wait, what is inside? What type of gluten? What do you put salt? What do you put in your bread? So the same way you have to do the same with fashion. I know too many brands that are 100% ethical, but not transparent. Not because they don't want, but because they are very new to this. They don't know how to do. They don't think of sharing a picture of the place where they produce the product. So ask the brand. They will be so happy to share all this information. If they don't share information, then you know that it's tricky. And and also realize that we're all a part of it. Like I was saying, ethical fashion is not something for an elite, rich people. It's for everybody. When you open your wardrobe and you choose a shirt or a jean or whatever, you're a part of this. You're a part of the fashion industry. You are responsible of all the ramifications of any choice you make when you take those jeans or anything. So I don't want to judge you right now and to scare you, but it's just that there is an impact on all of our choice, and step by step we can change it. Don't get too scared right away because it's very overwhelming, all the information. But that's answer your question. Yeah.
And there are many new vegan and ethical brands coming out now, but how do we make sure, apart from asking, how do we steer away from the greenwashing side, which is becoming more and more popular, apart from, the genuine leather, for example, or these things, how do we discriminate what's the real good one or not?
Yeah, there is a company, I forgot the name, but it's in the book as well. They create what they call the sixth sin of greenwashing. And they kind of teach you basically how to spot greenwashing. So, for example, some brand will say, oh, we are 100% sustainable. And then you check, but it's just a claim with no proof of this claim. Some people will say, we use organic material, and then you check, and the only organic material is just a little logo that they put on the whole shirt that is made of synthetic or whatever. So, or 5%, I saw something like made with recycled, it was a fast fashion brand, I don't want to mention any name, but they were saying made with recycled fabric or something, recycled plastic or something, and they were talking about the little label, the tag, but that's what was the recycled part. So just make always research. I love to say always, you're a superhero, we are all superheroes, and our superpower is choice. And like this great man say one day, I think his name is Spider-Man, he said, great power comes with great responsibility. And our responsibility is education. So we need to educate ourselves to make sure we make the right choice, because that's the power we have, is the choice. It really has an impact from someone that is all over the world. I have this story, I love to share that. It's a true story. It's a woman that I met, it was during COVID, so I met her through Zoom and all that. And she was working in the sweatshop. And she said that she was taking shirts. She was getting paid maybe a penny for each shirt. And she was putting a spell on this shirt, saying whoever will wear this shirt, I hope they die, and I hope she was saying horrible things. And that's what you wear basically when you put those shirts. So not only you have an impact on the world, it can have an impact on yourself as well. I don't know if you believe in energy, but it's obviously if you wear something like that, you don't have a good vibe, for you. So we need to educate ourselves and be careful on the choice we make. Yeah.
And one last thing, continuing on this, you also say in your book it's really hard to be a feminist and being a friend of fast fashion. What do you mean by that?
Yeah, I don't want to talk on behalf of women, so I don't really make this statement. I'm just asking the question: is it possible to be a feminist and to wear fast fashion? And it's not me who have to answer, of course. But the question was: if you buy a T-shirt that say "I'm a feminist," but it was made by a woman that don't even get paid, is it aligned with your values? So that was the question I was asking. Yeah.
Thank you. That's great. I'm so proud of you. This is such an extensive job, and I think.
want to say one thing.
Of course.
There's many solutions. There's many positive into this because I know I'm talking only about the negativity, but I have a whole chapter on solutions, and there is solutions. Buying secondhand, choosing organic, like fashion can be really nice. It can make you feel happy and good. So yeah, I just want to end on something positive.
Absolutely. Thank you, Jonathan. Thank you so much. And let's give her a round of applause. Congratulations. We're very, very proud of you. You have a lot of friends and love here following you. Thank you for your relentlessness, your passion, all your dedication. How can we find you online and how can we order this?
So on Amazon, it print on demand. So it's actually better for the environment. When you make a purchase, they will print the book and then ship it to you. So it's actually pretty good. Fakemovement.com. If you follow on Instagram, you will have all the news. And you have an event also coming up.
Yes.
Please share about it because she's an amazing singer. She just released a new song and yeah.
Thank you, Jonathan. We've been supporting each other in a lot of endeavors in these years. Yes, so June 29th, it's going to be at Art Share LA. It's going to be an environmental concert featuring also organizations and possibly even Roots and Shoots. We'll see. Thank you, John. Thank you, Sean, for possibly participating and supporting Feed and others. So if you guys want to join us, we'll keep you posted. And it's going to be 2 music performances and a few speeches too. And Jonathan will be there, and the book will be there too.
And one last thing, it's very important for me. I want to thank Deco Building for having us. We have plant-based treaty. If you didn't sign it yet, please endorse the treaty, the best treaty. We have a little like a museum with different alternatives. Kingdom, the best fashion brand in the world, right? Yeah. We have a Chaz Organic, Pinche Vegana, and C'est la Vie, so thank you for... Oh, and Nelly's, of course, Nelly's Bar, for amazing chocolate bar. So thank you for...
Thank you everyone for coming out.
Oh my God. How did I forget about Mikey? My favorite sushi place in LA, on Earth actually. If you've never been there, please go there. It's amazing. You have some here, I think... Oh no. Yeah, we might have a couple left. Okay, let's check. If not, it's a reason for you to go. It's an amazing restaurant. Go check them out.
Congratulations again. Thank you, Jonathan, for having us. And thank you all for coming out. And we can wait for the second book.